So I'm Ashrita, and that's Amber. We both are leading the workshop, and we are production assistants at the Media Commons. And for today, we're doing post-process Mocap to 3D character, mostly like retargeting, and the pipeline we're using is Motion Builder to Unreal. This is a very basic, like, simple process of like having your 3D character once you also have your like mocap data, and how to just like combine those two and have it imported into Unreal. There are some tools that you need for your future projects, which is an Adobe account, the Motion Builder, which is already provided into all of these like monitors, and Unreal account if you have it, and your own flash drive, because these computers do like refresh every Sunday. So make sure to save all of your files beforehand. And just in case, we also provide you guys the Motive dongles if your exportation somehow got messed up. So I'll talk about that more later. Okay, for this workshop, I already have like some files that I provide you guys so that it will be like a simpler process for everyone to follow the same thing, and so that you can implement this on your own for your project. So I already have all of like the Motion Builder open on most of the computers, so we can go ahead open the files. But the Amber, can you go to the next slide? And these are the characters that I pre-downloaded, so you can choose any one of these, and also save like 4 motion capture files that you can like choose within. So we'll just choose one character and one motion capture file for this workshop. And for a future reference, if you do want to download your own 3D character, or you're making your own 3D character, just make sure it comes rigged. That means it already has a pre-made skeleton. If not, you can also auto-rig it, or like add a skeleton to it in Mixamo, which is the Adobe software. And make sure to download it in a T-pose and in the FBX binary format. Yep. Let's go to File and open our 3D character. And it should be on the desktop within the post-production workshop. Mixamo character, and choose any of these 3. And for now, I'm going to choose this one. And right-click on Animation, and disregard all animations. There should be like red circles under all of the animation. And then open the file. If it doesn't look like this, you can change the viewing as perspective to producer perspective. So you can navigate the screen with pressing Alt and left click, middle mouse to like pan, and right click to zoom in and out. And if that's not how it's working, you can also change the interaction mode here to Maya. That might be also a reason where if Alt is not working. Now we want to view the skeleton of this 3D character. So click Control A twice. It depends on, you should be seeing these bones of your character. And yeah, this is how you like view your mesh, and you can also change the way you view it. You usually have this X-ray mode on to see your skeleton, so just make sure that it's on. At this stage, Motion Builder can be really finicky. It crashes at a lot of times, so just make sure you're saving your files every 5 minutes. So we can save it right now. And if you have your hard drives, I recommend saving it on your hard drives, or you can just create a folder on the desktop and send it to yourselves later. I'm gonna File, Save As. I'll rename it as Import Mesh and make sure it's on the FBX binary format. I'm gonna go to the desktop, create a new folder. Oh, well. Save. When you're saving it, make sure the animations are enabled. I mean, you can also have it disabled. It's just to make sure that our mocap data imports correctly later. Now we import our mocap data. So here, let's go to File, Motion File Import. Let's click on that and choose one of like these saved like files that I have in the folder under mocap animations. I'm gonna choose this take from the last mocap workshop that one of our other PAs did, and I'll just open it. At this point, if you have your like project like take files not named properly, you can rename it here, just so you know what like files you're using, so that it's not confusing. Since it's already named properly, I'm just gonna import it. And you will see your mocap skeleton in yellow, so that's how you differentiate it. I'm just gonna move around the space. And under this bar, under Navigator, Scene is where you'll see both of your mesh and your mocap files import. Now choose the motion capture skeleton. For me, it says Luke_root. And right click to select branches, and it's gonna turn green. And I'm going over the tools on the right side to move or resize this motion capture skeleton so that it's closely like matching up with the 3D character, just so it's easier to like retarget. I'm just scaling it. And I'll just move it to the side so I can see clearly what's happening. And these are the move tools, scale tool and rotate tool like on the right side. Anything apart from the Mixamo is like should be your like skeleton. And select all branches. Now make sure on the action bar, which is this red, you're on the 0 frame. And select branch. And now you're zeroing out your skeleton, so you're retargeting it to the T pose, so it's easier for the motion capture to connect to the 3D data. I just have this selected, and it should be green. Your mocap data should be green. And I'm right-clicking on it again, and going to 0, rotation. Make sure you're on the 0 frame when you're doing this, and that should straighten up the skeleton. Just because like every time when you're starting the mocap and your T-pose, if it's not perfect, it would be harder to retarget it on the model. So at this point, let's save your files again, just so, let's save it as motion file import. Every step you need to save it as a different file and rename it to the step you're currently at. So I named it as motion file import so that at any point it crashes, you can go back to that step to reopen that file. And this is an important step to characterize, and this is where we connect both of them together. Zoom into your mocap skeleton and select the hips. And you can do so by going under Scene and just selecting the hips. It should be named as your mocap skeleton and hips. Bottom right side of your screen under Asset Browser, under templates and characters, there's this character icon that's there. Zoom in closely to the hips before doing this step because it can be also very finicky. Either you can drag and drop this character icon directly to the hips on the screen here, or to this under the scene. I'm gonna do that. Can you guys see that? And then it should show up characterize and biped. Under characters under your navigator tab, you should see a new character form. And you should rename it to your mocap character, and I'm gonna do so. I'm gonna name it as the actor that did this mocap. We have to repeat that process for your 3D mesh character as well. So let's go over to that. Select the hips again, it's the same process. Drag and drop it onto the hips. Make sure you're not dragging and dropping it anywhere outside of that. And characterize biped. And another character will be popping up under your characters tab here. And rename it to the 3D characters mesh name, yeah. Renaming the characters, you just have to right click, rename. Let's save the file again and name it as characterizing. Save as a different file name, by the way. Save. This is where we connect these two characters and you'll see your animation play on the character. Under character controls on your top right of the screen, in the character, choose your character, like the 3D mesh name, and under source, choose your mocap skeleton name. And they should snap together. And there's a play button on the action bar here, and you can play it. The character is your 3D mesh, your 3D model. And the source is your mocap data. If you haven't renamed them, it should be character 1 or character. This is the step where you can edit and change your mocap data, because sometimes when the motion capture does not record your markers properly, there's gonna be errors. And this is where you can fix those errors if you want each of your, for example, sometimes your hand is flipped inside out and you want to change that. This is the part where you can edit your original mocap data. So let's go to character controls again. This blue box, click on it and bake plot, bake to control rig. And then click FKIK. And the joints of the bone should turn red, blue. That's where you're able to control. Let's go to animation layer 1. There's 2 layers. The base animation is where all the keyframes are. That's your original mocap data. You don't want to change that. You want to add a layer over top so that it overwrites that part, but you could still have your original mocap data saved. I'm going to go on this layer. And also you can scrub through your animation by just dragging the gray bar and just slowly scrub through it. And if you find an error at one point is when you would stop at that keyframe. For example, there might not be an error in this particular file, but I do want to change the position of this arm. I don't like the way it's not twisted inwards, and I want to make it rotate inwards. I can just, and also at this point, maybe at this point, I want it to rotate inwards and I want to keep it that way for the rest of the video. I'm just going to select it and going back to the tools on the right, I will use the rotate tool. to rotate it. If I have an error, I'm just gonna rotate it a little bit and hit the button key, which is under key controls. And when I play it, it's gonna stay that way the whole of the clip. Sometimes the error can be momentary. It can only be at one frame. And at that, for example, I'm gonna actually just make this a self error, I guess. Okay. As an example, at my frame 185, the hand flicked up, and I don't want that. A single frame before, and add a key. And a single frame after 185, which is 186, add a key. And the actual error part of the frame, change it to how you like. So if it was this way, rotate it back to how you want, and then key it. You're doing this so that the positioning of before the error should stay the same, and the positioning after the error should stay the same. That's why you're putting those placeholders as before and after the error. If you don't have any errors, and you can just go straight to baking it to skeleton. And this is the final step. After this, you're not able to edit any of your mocap data. It's gonna fully combine both of the data and the character. And this would be the last step before you wanna export it to Unreal. After you're done with the control rig, you go hit the blue square again, bake to skeleton. Like I said, after this, you are not able to edit your data again. And now save it as export. Also make sure to save your file after the control rig as control rig. I didn't do that here. Go to games and have the blank selected. And you can choose the directory here. Choose the one on your desktop, the folder you created. I forgot to rename my folder, so I'm just gonna use this one. And make sure to name your project before this. So I'm just gonna say post production. And then create. Under content browser, click on content. You can right click to create a new folder to import your animations. Go into the folder and import. Select the file that you just exported out to Unreal. I think mine's under open. And after the pop-up, let's select some things to make sure that it imports correctly. Scroll down, make sure your import animations is checked. And check the snap to closest frame boundaries. Those are the two options that you need to check before importing. Import animations and snap to closest frame boundary. And click on import. And all your files need to show up inside the folder. And just, sorry, I forgot to mention, but save your Unreal file as well. First, save current level as, and name it as whatever. I'm gonna do eraser And you can save it under content. Just a quick note, when you're reopening your Unreal files, it's gonna always open blank. You have to go back into File and open your levels that you saved. And that's when you can see all of your assets that you saved and loaded. And I'll also do Save All. Animation sequence, this tab, you can drag and drop it. That looks tiny, so I'm just gonna zoom it or click F. I'm now gonna create a level sequence. This is where you can view all of your assets and to play your animation. So right now this is just a 3D mesh in the world. And to view your animation, I'm gonna just add, it's like a timeline just to add animations attached to this character. I'm gonna just name it as level sequence and save it under content. You can also make folders for this, but for now I'm just gonna save it. And you'll have the sequencer window open up. Click on it and add level sequence. And then save it. How's everyone doing? Thumbs up? Okay, okay. Click on your character again, that's in the world. And on the outliner on your right side, it's highlighted in blue. Just drag and drop it to your level sequencer tab. And you'll see all these tabs open up. And on the first one, there's a plus sign. And click on it. Animation. And select that animation. And right now, we have to increase the frames because it's not going to view the whole thing. Let's just, for example, go up to 500. And there's a scroller at the bottom that you should drag to the right. And there's also a red tab that you can drag it to the rightmost part of your animation. So it's like the start and end. The sequencer tab should be open once you have your level sequence. Or you can also go to your outliner to have your level sequencer and double click on it. If you play your animation, it should be playing in the world. There's the last few things that I wanted to cover for Unreal. You can add in camera to be able to capture this animation and then finally export it. You can do so by doing, there's a cube and a plus sign. Go to cinematics, add a sign camera actor. And that's gonna add a camera. You can move it around, rotate it so it's facing your actor. And under your sequencer, drag and drop the camera as well. The same way you did so with the... And there are multiple camera settings that you can, there's documentation with Unreal itself that show what camera you can choose, etc. But you can view your camera shot by clicking on the blue camera icon beside the camera cuts. That would be your final output or video output. You can add multiple cameras and have them like edited into the camera cuts at different like points. For example, camera 1 is going from frame 0 to 30. Camera 2 is recording from a different angle from 30 to 50. So for now, we can just like, I'll just show some export settings. So, and there are also more detailed export settings within Unreal that I would recommend for higher renders. For now, I'm just gonna show you the quickest one. Let's go to Edit. plugins. Movie. Check movie render queue. And then Apple ProRes. These plugins are for you to like render these images out, and Apple ProRes like renders it out as a movie instead of image sequence. Ideally, your render should be individual frames, and the highest quality is either PNG or EXR file types, and you have to drag and drop these files in your post applications like Premiere Pro, After Effects, and render it out from there again. But Apple ProRes does this for you. And it shows that you need to restart now, but I'll make sure that you save your file before doing so. So let me do that. Save all plugins. I'm gonna do that too. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. After your file reopens again, you should open your level. That's when you're able to view. And it should show up under your recent levels. I'm gonna open my content browser and my level sequence again because it doesn't show up once it reopens again, so. Ooh. And the 3 dots beside this movie icon, make sure your movie render queue is selected. Now click on the icon and click on unsaved config, and a new window pops up. This window, under settings, this is where you choose your output directory, how you're exporting it, and also the quality of these renders. Click on the plus sign. This is the highest quality, which is gonna take a long time, which we definitely don't need right now. Let's just do Apple ProRes. We can turn this, toggle it off because we're not doing the image sequence for now anyway. Let's do anti-aliasing. This is a specific definition of like the quality of your renders. If there's a lot of motion in your movies, instead of making it look, it just makes it look more smooth. There are certain numbers and sample numbers that you need to put in individually based on your project, and there are more videos on that within Unreal documentation and also a lot of YouTube videos. For now, I'm just gonna leave it as is. And let's click under Apple ProRes. The 422 proxy is the lowest quality and the XQ is the highest. So for now, I'm just gonna render it out since this is an example as in between as 422. And accept. And, oh, I forgot to change my output. So I'm gonna choose my directory as this. And I'm gonna click render local. That's your file.